All aboard your Tech Games caboose. We have some cool Mobile World Congress stuff with Xiaomi's Mi 9 and their Mi Mix 3 5G version, Galaxy's A30 and A50, Energizer's 18,000 mAh battery phone, and then a phablet from Lenovo's Tab V7. So let's start off with Xiaomi Mi 9. And the big difference between the Xiaomi phones is the triple camera on the 9 version and the 5G with super fast blazing speeds from the Mix 3 5G, and it's a little bit of a slider phone. So let's go over the actual camera first. So it has a triple camera. The first camera is a 48 megapixel and then a 12 megapixel 2x telephoto, and then a third one is the ultra wide, which is like 117-degree field of view. And here is a little bit of the ultra wide angle that you can get with it. So you look at a little bit of background and it's quite different perspectives. So triple cameras, there's a couple other phones doing this too now, and this is the way the triple camera on the back of phones is going to keep progressing, it looks like. So a lot of different perspectives all in your phone. So that's pretty impressive for a cameras in the rear phone. And then both phones will have the Mix 3 5G, and the Mi 9 will both have Snapdragon 855s. They will both have a 6.39-inch Samsung AMOLED display at 1080p, and also some other little bit different specs is a 3300 mAh battery on the 9 versus 38 on the Mix 3. And also there is the front camera we did not mention. So the Mi 9 has the one front-facing camera. It's a little bit of a water drop notch, and that is a 20 megapixel front-facing camera, whereas the Mix 3 has two that actually slide up out of the phone. So you actually get to see a large screen to body aspect ratio, 93%, because it's getting rid of the cameras on the actual screen and it slides up. So pretty interesting. And then the 5G-ness is pretty fast. And then last couple specs is 6 gigs of RAM, and then there is storage is 128 gigs. I believe there's also a 64 gig version, probably depending on select markets. And that leads us into some pricing. So it is 449 euros for the Mi 9 versus 600 euros for the Mix 3. And the Mix 5G version is coming in select 5G markets, coming in a couple months it looks like, versus the Mi 9 449 euro price starting today in Spain, France, and Italy, aside from its home country, China, apparently. So pretty good phones coming from Xiaomi with triple cameras and some 5G speeds. So pick and choose which one you want, and some good selfie camera stuff going on. And we're going to quickly go over a couple of the other phones. There's a lot of phones going on with Mobile World Congress, so we're combining that all in one episode. So Samsung's Galaxy A series, the A50 and A30. So the big difference here is the triple camera on the A50 and then the dual camera on the A30. And then spec-wise, they both have 6.4-inch Full HD displays, so 1080p, the Super AMOLED with the little infinity U-drop water notch. And other specs, you get a little bit different RAM, 4 gigs versus 3, and then 32, a couple different options for 32 to 64, all the way up to 128. And then these will have micro SD cards and 4,000 mAh batteries. So these are a little bit more battery oriented, giving you as many days as possible. So here is a video from Gadgets 360 with some hands-on, and it looks like these are set for an event in India on March 28th, so just a couple days, and then if they should either release on that day or we'll get a date for that. So here's a little video comparison as well, some good shots from this. And price wise, it looks like it's coming in at around 349 euros, roughly RS 28,000. This is for the A50, and then probably a little bit less for the A30. So again, outside the US, it looks like for these two series of phones. And we have another interesting phone from Energizer. This is the Power Max P18K, so 18,000 mAh battery with a pop-up selfie camera. So are you wondering how thick this is going to be? Pretty thick at 18 millimeters. So if you want to put that in your pocket, it will be difficult. in certain genes. Anyways, this has a MediaTek Helio P70 processor, 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage, and that's a 6.7-inch screen. And then it has a 12 triple camera on the rear, so we have some rear cameras going on, a 12 megapixel 5 and a 2. And then the pop-up selfie camera is 12, I think, or 16 and a 2 megapixel. So they're making some good usage out of 5 different cameras with a very large battery. And this only costs you 599 euros, which it looks like is also running Android 9. And when is this coming, you might ask? It's looking like a June, but we're not sure if this is coming to the US again. So this is probably select regions, and we'll see what's going to happen here. But pretty couple day battery. What was the time for this? 50 days of standby, so almost 2 months, 200 hours of playback, so like 8 days of video playback. And also it supports fast charging, which will take you 9 hours to charge this phone to full. So some pretty interesting specs going on here. It's pretty crazy. And lastly, we have the Lenovo Tab V7, which is a phablet 4G phone with a massive 6.9-inch screen. So this is pretty good if you want a large 1080p screen on a phone with some 4G going on. And there's a little bit of video we'll go over in a second, but this is a price of $250 with a Snapdragon 450, so not top of the line specs besides the large screen, obviously. And then no release date, but it doesn't look like we'll have to wait long. This article mentions won't be long before the device hits markets in select regions in South America, Africa, Asia, and certain parts of Europe. So pretty interesting, pretty large screen in this guy's hand. This guy has pretty big hands. I'm not actually sure, but this is for Phone Arena. So pretty good if you want to have a phone tablet. Awesome, cool. And we have some chat saying, Awesome Gaming saying hi, hello. Just get an iPhone. I believe that would be in comparison to a lot of these phones, depending on which iPhone you're looking at. And Mark says, hello, great show. Great comment back at you. Anyways, a lot of crazy phones going on at Mobile World Congress. There's a bunch of other phones. There's a bunch of mid-range phones as well from Alcatel and a few others. And we'll have another episode a little bit later today for some more Mobile World Congress stuff, as well as another one tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific. And with that, we will be signing out. Pew, 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 pew.